Hello, welcome. Today we will talk about courage from an astrological perspective, how to look at someone's chart to determine how courageous they can be. I hear courage, the very first thing that comes to a mind, a Bollywood superhero who is hunky, muscular, physically involved. He will take control of the situation in fights, not just for himself, but will also stand up for others and never takes nonsense. But this was just about physical courage. Physical courage is primary. Speak up against wrongs. They physically engage in action. When you feel that something is not right, you should go against it. You should raise your voice. They are physically involving themselves in fights, taking action, and there is bodily involvement happening. So, this is called physical courage, for which Mars is responsible. And this can be the best form of courage. Maybe that's why Mars is often forgotten as the significator of courage. But because there are categories of courage, and there can be many other types of courage. Social courage is when you are not just physically involved in a fight for yourself, but socially, when you feel that something is wrong. Leading people and fighting together is called social courage, for which the sun is responsible, along with Mars. When we feel that something is morally wrong, and then we raise our voice, that is called moral courage. You know, this is morally wrong. You have the time, you have the money, you have the strength, so do that, but you won't do it because you have moral courage. These give us planets like the Sun and Jupiter. Then comes emotional courage. You must have seen many people. If you hit, then emotionally they become the most vulnerable. We can't even tolerate how they have treated us in this sector, where watery signs come play. 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 12 are not courage. They are emotions. Yes, we can definitely take coffee that has a going blood belt because it's the sign of Mars. If Mars is the commander, he is also the soldier, and he is the spy that comes in Scorpio. Gwendy, a person with good emotional courage, he knows how much he needs to provide emotionally, and even if they get hurt, how to back out. In situations, handle their emotions. So, when you find courage in the 4, 8, 12 signs, or when they are suffering, you end up harming yourself more than harming others. There is a lack of logic in this. That's why I think the best form of courage is intellectual courage, which involves planets like Mercury. Maybe that's why the third house of the Kalpurush, from where we see courage, is ruled by Gemini. Mercury's sign rules. Gemini not only brings art, but also college. And this is a masculine sign. How important is freezing? After this, we will move forward, where we find solutions through logic and arrive at solutions through diplomacy. Finally, what needs to be done, what is in your mind, and what is in my mind. We find the middle path, which we call intellectual courage, and then comes spiritual courage. I mentioned that Ketu represents our belief system. So Ketu gives us spiritual courage, good deed, and for bad also. Because remember, Ketu is a headless planet. They need the right direction and energy, otherwise they can become quite destructive. When it comes to the spiritual belief system. Now, today, we will judge courage on different parameters, which we call jewelry. Look at the third house. Which planets are sitting there and which signs are important? Which houses are important? How many types of courage are there? And how do different planets and signs provide different kinds of courage? So that next time we don't say that there is no courage. Next time, we will discuss what kind of courage can be found in this. We are all courageous. Let's get started. Let's find out if you are courageous or covered. First of all, the set rules. Let's talk about what we have mostly applied so far, and that is also correct. This is where the third house shows us courage. It tells us how bold we are and how much initiative we will take. So, what is the simple rule? If there is a natural malefic planet in the third house, March, Saturn, Rahu, Ketu forms a relationship with third house, third lord. So, we will make you courageous and fearless. But remember, Satan is not a signifier. Even with Saturn, it doesn't impact courage. Saturn brings challenges needing courage. Rahu's courage is manipulative. So it is possible that the association of Set may provide such situations in life which may be rough and tough. That's why you have to show courage. And the courage associated with Rahu can be a bit manipulative. The real significator is Mars. So we will be giving a lot of importance to Mars. We will look at them as worlds. It is also said that natural benefics like Jupiter, Venus, and Mercury are fundamental. If they are in the third house, their tendency is more peace-loving. They don't like to confront. They have a softer approach and avoid direct conflict. But you must have seen charts where Jupiter or Venus is in the third house. Still, they confront, but their way is different. Which sign is here? What are the qualities of that sign? What is the ascendant saying? What is the house saying? All of that also matters. The connection of soft planets to the third house makes you a peace lover. It is said that to speak in a dignified way, the connection of the third house should only be with benefic planets. This means that they won't come into your life at all, and things will start happening easily. We will talk about this too. Okay? As I was saying earlier, courage is always talked about in terms of how much you are holding back, how much you are bullying, how much you are shouting, and how much you are speaking up. So we won't just focus on physical courage. Courage has different perspectives, different categories and parameters that need to be kept in mind. Sometimes keeping quiet and not seeing anything at that time and waiting for the right moment is also a kind of courage. Okay, now what we need to see is what have we been looking at so far and what should we be looking at? So, who gives us strength? Strength is given to us. Male signs, back ruling signs, and strong night signs. Signs differ, similar ones. There will be some similarities. The more similar signs we find in the same category, the more importance we will give to that sign. So, which are our male signs? All the arts and sciences are our male signs. Which are the back ruling signs? 1, 2, 4, and 10 are our back ruling signs. Why are we bringing them to college? Because the front rising signs they are addressing. So, your problem is if the front rising sign is giving you courage, so that will give you a kind of understanding-based courage, which also takes into account the other person's perspective. The signs with back ruling tend to be a bit stubborn. So sometimes in these kinds of courage, you have to show a bit of stubbornness. Or you have to look at your perspective, then they give you back rising signs. That's why they have been placed in the category of courage. Night strong signs. Every planet's first sign falls under the night strong sign. Now we will take common ones. As you will mostly see, there are Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and Capricorn. Those will repeat twice. So we will give importance to that sign in college. The only way of showing college. So where do we need these signs? If the ascendant is there, if the ascendant lord is placed in the third house, and if the third lord is in the first, 10th, or 1000th house, and if Mars is also placed in these signs, then it is considered good. For courage, we consider the 3rd, 6th, 10th, and 11th houses. These are rising houses. So, if the ascendant lord is strongly placed in these parts, then again, you will be courageous. Never leave. How strong is your moon? So, Mars is the significator of our bravery. They are given prime importance. You need to judge Mars very well. You also need to look at Mars, Ashtakvarga, and what else to consider. Mars is the planet that is strong at night. It is a night-strong planet. In fact, Mon Mars, Saturn, these night-strong planets, born when Mars is in the last night phase, its strongest. Wealth at night is in the last phase. Mars is in the 3rd house. So if somebody has earned money during the night, it has happened on the last page. And Mars is placed in the 3rd house. If it is well placed, then they are courageous. Mars will give strength, courage, and confidence. If they are well placed, then generally those people are very courageous, even if you are not looking at the 3rd house and its lord. Mars will give strength, courage, and confidence. If they get a royal, night strong, by crisis male sign, they will become even more action oriented. They will be passionate, persistent, and courageous. The importance of Mars increases when it is positioned in the 6th, 7th, or 10th house. Planets linked to the ascendant make courage more significant. If any planet relates to the ascendant, our discussion is crucial, even if it's not happening. The point made about courage carries more weight. We give it more importance if it's not happening. Mars is strong by itself. We give too much importance to it, but it is not even happening. Mars is strong. We give it importance. The 6th house is better. If Mars is weak, it won't make a person courageous. The 6th house is better. If Mars is weak, it won't make a person brave but timid. Now, if Mars becomes weak in this house, then it will not make career. These facts will make you a coward. You might think I can say this, but when the right time comes, you won't be able to take action. You'll be scared. If Mars gets involved in a negative yoga, combustion is key. Overdoing may mean empty threats. If an ascendant or lot is weak, it's bad. When we say that someone is overdoing it, perhaps the real meaning of combustion is that they are just making empty threats and not able to act. If someone's ascendant or lot gets combusted or becomes weak, that's not a good situation either. Courage in the 4th, 8th, and 12th houses is spoiled, affecting self-dignity. You handle emotional trauma well, and those people commit emotionally. Saturn can significantly impact vital houses. So, you know how to handle myself when it comes to emotional trauma. And those people are not even afraid to comment emotionally. Now, although Satan is a night-strong planet, but someone has a lot of night, and Satan, being a strong planet, is pleased in vital hall houses. Now, we can't tell them that they show the rigidity and harshness of Saturn. So today, I mentioned that the situation will be challenging. That's doing okay. Now, to see how many types of courage there are in a person, we give more importance to their 3rd house and the lord of the 3rd house. You should check the connection of their 3rd house and the lord of the 3rd house with which sign or planet it is associated. Since the connection is mostly with Aries and Mars, they will become offensive. They will confront impatiently. They want an answer. When I was saying that they become physically involved, because Mars is the sign that falls into all 3 categories. When we said that it should be a male sign, back rising, and a strong night sign, it falls into all 3 categories. So definitely they are very daring, but they start confronting. How did you say that? How did you have the courage to say that? I need an answer. This is the nature of Aries. Then comes Taurus, which is ruled by kind of feminine energy. Here, the other feminine planet, the moon, is exalted. So they don't want to get into any trouble. They shouldn't do anything like that. When their mental peace is disturbed, they become very defensive, while Aries is being offensive, Taurus is being defensive. Then they say that I also have the energy of a bull in me, and now I've become stubborn. I won't let go. Taurus is also covering a lot of categories. When we talk about courageous signs, I won't call them Mercury signs, Virgos in colleges. Virgos are solution oriented. They avoid the middle path. They don't confront directly. But yes, there can be a bit of courage in Gemini. But the main theme of both signs is intelligence based, where debate come into play. Cancer is also a peace loving sign. They don't want to get into any trouble. They shouldn't get involved with feminine signs. And they shouldn't show courage. Remember, females do not want to be masculine. It's just that their situation makes them act masculine. So, what's happening here? In Cancer, you are provoking someone, emotionally provoking them. Mars is sitting in a low position here. And then there's a lot of fiction happening. No, courage. Now you are trying to be curious, which can lead you in the wrong way. Leo is very bold, brave. Brother, I didn't like this about you. It not like that, it like this. There are rules and regulations, the sign of a king, only entering the battlefield. I give them a note that they have their own ways, so they are not the ones who attack from behind. There wouldn't be a fight. They are not the ones who attack from behind. Libra is the sign of diplomacy. It engages peacefully. So they are not the ones who attack from behind. Now, the Libra sign is the sign of diplomacy. It also engages peacefully in resolving fights. Even two, Libra, one is masculine sign. Still, she doesn't come into combat like the diametrically opposite Aries does. Scallop makes strategies. He waits for the right moment. He collects all the evidence like a spike, makes noises, skirt. He does nothing until you trigger him. Now, once they are triggered, they use their determination because they can't forget Sagittarius. Personally, I like Sagittarius the most. When we talk about courage, this is also a masculine sign and it's a sign of wisdom. Personally, I like it the most. When we talk about courage, this is also a masculine sign and it's a sign of wisdom. Here, there is also the knowledge of the strategist, and we call this the war zone. They create proper strategies, especially in war if the former is in the Shada Nakshatra. They are very solution oriented. They are not problem oriented. They know what is my plan B, what is my plan C, and how to fix this. They come into open conflict. Each zodiac sign has its planetary attributes. And in the same way, we are looking at that sign, but we shouldn't look at Capricorn. Capricorn merges, fights, give. They are different in Capricorn, but there is a merging energy. They will die themselves, but won't let you go. So they fight till their last breath. That's what comes with Capricorn. This is not a weak sign. Aquarius can use strategies like Scorpios, just like how Scorpio can use them. So I am saying that the human side is there, so they will easily come back to that ground, but if required, and the other combinations support them. Those who practice black magic, delve into tantra, and use wrong spells are experienced. What's inside their core, their image as Aquarius, is known to no one. There is a lot of concealment in the Aquarius sign. So what is their plan? We can't figure out what's going on in their mind, just like Scorpio. Says, keep me away. I want my happiness. I need comfort. Please end the conversation here. Resolve this matter. Look at this chart. This chart is more courageous than Indira Gandhi, who will have Saturn. In the ascendant, looking at Cancer, which is our 6th or 10th house, we don't talk about parameters, How can a Karaka personality be courageous? And where is my ascendant? My ascendant is in the seventh house, which is in Capricorn. So I have desires and I hold on to things like a Capricorn. Once I grab onto something, I don't let it go. I will work till my last breath, but I will also have very good opposition because they are not just coming to my ascendant, they are controlling my mind, my personality, my entire life. And in life, there are many ups and downs. The exchange works like a civil guard, but still, problems do arise. It does protect, but problems it do arise. Now, if I talk about the third and 10th houses, my 10th lord is very dignifiedly placed. Their birth is not very late at night, but yes, it is a night birth, and Mars is strongly placed, which is also expecting their third lord, Mercury. Both confrontational signs don't hold back. They go into open warfare. Because Leo is a front-facing sign, it's a very strong sign. So the way to confront won't be as straightforward as the back rising. Signs will do. Yes, they received Scorpio's energy. Their third lord, Mercury, has gone into Scorpio. The sun is also there. So remembering I have to take revenge, it comes from here. So this is how you see what a person's personality can be like. How do they react in different sectors? And what kind of debt do they actually show? She breaks that to show college and waiting for the right time. This chart is very interesting. This is Aishwarya Rai's chart. The ascendant lord in the third house creates a radius, and it also shows stubbornness. The way it shows the resolve to stay free. My ascendant lord is Mercury, which also becomes my 10th lord, and it is in the third house. One type of necklace shows the spirit of not wearing it. Ascendant Lord Mercury in the third house. Eighth house in Aries, looking back at its own house, Mercury looking at it. My third lord is in same house. They are sitting in the eighth house in Aries, looking back at their own house, and the ascendant Lord Mercury is observing them. Their birth is during the late night. Right now, in the last phase of the night, with the strength of the angle, the retrogression of the ascendant Lord in the Scorpio sign, in the Aries sign, you will state what you believe, even if it is causing harm. What the other person is thinking or not thinking. This like is your belief system. So, your style of behaving can be very offensive, like asking for solutions and asking for answers in a way that is also being remembered. Mars's strength suggests she is determined in her thinking, despite others' views. This determination is part of her belief system, and she plans to act on it. Both the positions of Mars meeting the ascendant Lord indicate that she will be very determined in her thinking, no matter what anyone else is thinking. For her, whatever anyone is thinking is dynamic in their belief system, and she wants to act on it. Look at this chart. It has Scorpio in the ascendant and Rahu. When we talk about Scorpio and remembrance, it also remembers fear, and Rahu is the planet of fear, the sign of fear, and the planet associated with fear. I'm in my passion. So I am remembering. I'm fearful about regarding things. I'm finding negativity in every possible thing. My ascendant Lord is in the 11th house with the sun. My 10th Lord is there, but they have received the sign of Mercury, which is considered good for finding solutions. My 10th Lord is also there, along with my ascendant Lord. I have desires, have aspirations, and I want to find a middle path for that. My third Lord is settled. Saturn is now in the 6th house, again in the sign of Mercury, in a 2v1 strength sign. Saturn hasn't found any associations with any major malefic planets. Their approach is not aggressive. He is logical, seeks balance, and Mercury influences. So their approach situation is not one of resorting to scuffle or violence. His approach is to be logical, to find the middle path. and Mercury influences come into play when we talk about courage. And when we talk about rising signs, Aquarius rising is also considered the most courageous because they have Aries in the third house, which is seen as good for physical courage. The best way of showing is that in the third house of Scorpio, their exalted sign, and Capricorn also increase. So these guys are like, they are considered courageous, and their main sign is in the sixth house. So just by looking at the rising sign, you can understand their theme and pattern. Look at Sagittarius rising. This sign is what we refer to as the sign of war, the declaration of war. It has planets like Mars, fire sign planet in ascendant lord retro in third house. In Aquarius, the third lord, Saturn, is in the sign of Scorpio. In the third house, there is Aquarius. The third lord is in Scorpio in the 12th house. My 10th lord is in Cancer. I mentioned that watery signs don't get disturbed in the 8th house. Going to the ward or physically showing the college. Mars is expected to be retrograde, and Rahu, the ascendant lord, is also retrograde. The sun is also supporting because the sun is aspecting them. Leadership qualities, definitely. They stand not just for themselves but also for their community, and they are very courageous people. Yes, because they have the energy of Scorpio and Aquarius. I would no doubt prove his point. Then somebody down, he will go bend courage. It can be very situational. Sometimes we don't even realize that we can be this courageous. Sometimes we feel that we are capable, we will do it. But when the time comes, we can't do it. In this, the ascendant lord, the third lord, all their importance is more significant. This situation sometimes can be quite challenging. Suddenly, it puts us in such situations that we become courageous. The position of planets back rising or night-strong zodiac signs sitting in masculine signs also makes us what we are. This is supported by the planets. So next, when you look at a chart from a college point of view, just focus on the benefic or well-placed planets sitting in the third house overall. Look at their theme. Thank you so much.